Hi guys, welcome back to this podcast. Today I'm interviewing Gareth. Gareth, tell us who you are. I'm just going to jump straight in.
So my name's Gareth Howell and I am basically a Redcar lad, and I've known a lot of Stephen's friends throughout my life, and I'm a bit older than Stephen, so however my wife went to school with Stephen, so we're all, of course I'm an ex-army veteran, joined the army at 16, was there till I was 40, I'm now 46, so I was out, did my full career in the army, and came out, and that's it really. Married to Kate and got 2 kids.
Tell me about army life. What's the crack?
Well,
why didn't you join the Royal Engineers for starters?
Because it was an option, however. I did actually want to be a chef, believe it or not.
Did you?
Yeah. And then joined the Green Hours, which is obviously a local infantry regiment. So, but went to the careers office, obviously short on Royal Signals juniors at the time. Joined at 16 straight from school, and kind of, like every good recruiter does, got me into the slot he wanted me to get me into, so I ended up staying, and was there, like I say, from 16 to when I retired at 40.
I thought you boys, until I seen your picture the day, I thought you boys sat in an office. And then I seen this fucking rack of medals like that. Tell me about them.
And it's the same as engineers.
So where have you been?
It's the same as the engineers, alright, so wherever the engineers go, the infrastructure needs to be in place before anyone goes there.
To be fair, I'm having a bit of banter with you there.
Alright, okay. Yeah, I've been all over. My first conflict was in Bosnia, went to Christmas '95, so it was just as the UN tour was finishing, became an I4 tour, and then, so it became a NATO tour after the UN. Did that tour, through the winter months. It's a pretty weird tour, to be honest. Obviously, being in the military, you always used to think that you kind of can tell who the enemy are. You know what I mean? The goods and the bads, and the friends and the foe. What they look just like us, a bit like when you go to Northern Ireland, really. But until you start speaking to them, you wouldn't know who was who.
Yeah.
And it was all a religious war again. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. It's the first time I'd ever seen death, like in conflict. A lot of mass graves and all over there, so it was, yeah, I was a young lad, 21-year-old, or whatever it was, something like that. And first experience of being there. And I was the CO's driver operator, so I used to see pretty much the whole of the country. Never seen anywhere so bombed. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was my first experience of conflict in any way. And the first time I'd heard gunfire which wasn't just on ranges, or exercise. Yeah, so it was all a bit different.
And how was that for you? Because I certainly remember the first time, probably for me, would have probably been Afghanistan, where I first heard gunshots and sort of mortars being fired at you and stuff like that. And I personally remember, like, I've mixed feelings for that, of sort of a bit excited and the adrenaline going, but at the same time thinking, like, shit, this is, like, shit's got kind of real now. It's,
it was definitely a moment of realisation. It was a bit, without sounding pedantic or anything, it sounded a bit like I was up thinking bonfire night, with everything going off and stuff like that. Like, really, and then you actually realise where you are. Because you can see all the traces going across the valley and stuff. And just admiring it, you know, and then you actually realise that you're in that. In that situation, you go, oh shit. So yeah, it was a surreal moment for me, definitely.
But do you think that, because like I've had people say to me, like, what's that like? I find that you switch off to that after a certain, like.
You definitely get used to it.
Yeah.
I'll come on to that when I talk about something later. But yeah, you definitely get used to it. Otherwise you won't be able to go to sleep, or you won't be able to do anything. You're always on edge, aren't you? But you're always at a heightened awareness state. What kind of, your body gets used to it, your mind gets used to it, and it just becomes part of background noise, really. And it's only when it gets closer that you start realising you need to do something about it, really.
So tell me more about these medals. So you've got Bosnia. What else have you got?
So Bosnia, Kosovo, I've been to tours of Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan, Northern Ireland. Well, actually Northern Ireland came, I got 3 medals from one tour of Northern Ireland basically, because I went to Northern Ireland, we were teaching counter-terrorism stuff, and then they found that in Iraq and Afghanistan we were using the same kind of tactics as the IRA were using, so we basically went over there and educated the troops on that kind of stuff. So from that one tour I got 3 medals.
That's not bad then, is it?
It's not bad. Obviously Kay didn't find it too funny because she sat there in Northern Ireland on her own. I spent 6 months in Northern Ireland out of 2 years and the rest of it was never there. So.
Yeah. So when did you do Afghan and Iraq?
2000 where are we? Talik 4, Herrick 5 and 6.
See, I don't remember anything like that. When people say to me, like, what was the tour called? I never remember the names.
Yeah,
I've had somebody before say to me, you haven't been in the army, you're full of shit. But I don't remember, like, where some people remember all the towns and the places.
Yeah, but it's only... I don't remember the dates, that's why I'm not so shit with the dates.
No, I remember the dates, I'm alright with that.
I just can't remember them at all. Because they all kind of merge in. Sometimes I wonder whether I was in Iraq first or Afghanistan first, and they'll say towns about places I've been to, and I'm in totally one country. Like,
yeah.
Oh. Is that what we were?
Yeah. So 2002 I done Afghan.
Yeah.
And then Iraq 2003.
Oh, right, okay.
And then Iraq again 2007, I think it was. So were you in Afghan for the earthquake? Did you experience that?
Not the earthquake, no.
That's bizarre.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah. Weird thing. Funnily enough, I was talking to Martin, who's got the local estate agents, and they've just been in Turkey, and apparently there's been a big earthquake.
Oh, that's, yeah, I've seen that.
And I've not seen that, but yeah, weird experience. So you've done Afghan, Iraq, Bosnia, Kenya, I'm guessing.
I didn't go.
You didn't
I never got to do anything nice. I did a lot.
I'm not sure it was nice.
Yeah, I'm not saying nice, but warm, should say. Warm with, the beach with no sea, as I used to call it, like being in Afghan and Iraq. But I did a lot of early on training. Whereas you went and became like para-trained, I was actually welfare trained, so I spent most of my time in Norway.
Yeah.
And even with the Darlow training there, and doing all the ice drills and all the survival stuff you do out there, and then going from that environment to used to train, and then in the summer we'd go to Turkey, but every time I went to Turkey I was rather upgrading on my trade, or I was doing something else, or I was never there, or I was in Kosovo for one, so never got to go to the warm place, I was in the cold, and I'm absolutely rubbish in the heat.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I hate it the other way around. I can handle the heat all day long. So did you do Oman?
Didn't do all, man. Basically, we went straight in from. The only time we used to come out of country was to go and service white fleet vehicles, like the ones that we had to take and get them serviced every now and again, which was like a right bonus. So you'd be able to go off, and it was like there was no threat down there, so you could have a day, like go to the American base for the day, whilst your vehicles were in getting sorted out. And go on the swimming pool, PX, all that good stuff. Come back loaded with like mag lights and Leathermans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got to do a few decent ones. I've done Australia, New Zealand. Where else? Saudi. That was good as well. We had some pretty good facilities there. So I've had my fair share of decent ones as well. So I could talk on the army stuff all day. We'd probably get lost in this. Tell me about a time on tour where it's been a bit twitchy or something's happened and you've...
I've had a few over the years, obviously everyone does, and it's a thing I explain to people, it's without going into detail basically, it's not like World War II where you have a line and we're on one side and they're on the other. We're circling all around these different places and little nucleuses all around the country, so
yeah.
You never know where you're going to be, And there's no such thing as a signaller, an average signaller that you would not be expected to go on patrol or do top cover, or even the same for anyone or any cat badge. If you're out in that environment, you're expected to rather do top cover, whether it's just going to an airport to pick people up or whatever, for troops coming in, or being an escort for someone else. Anyone of any cat badge can go and find themselves in a situation where they will be on patrol with the infanteers or whoever else that's actually doing that task. But so there's definitely times when you're squeaky bum time, yeah, and 50p's are coming, like all that. I was in Kabul teaching later on, and when the British embassy got blown up, and we were right next to it, and we were in what we call a hollow square, so all the ISO containers, three-sided, and it was right behind it and hollowed through. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Another time when I was in, which was quite a cushy part of that tour, I was in Kandahar airfield, but it's in a bowl, so what we would do is to mortar it every night. And again, you just get used to that.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? But one landed right next to where we were kicking and blew me off my bed. And the top of the roof had all the shrapnel in it. It's only because we had concrete defence walls, besides that we didn't survive, that we survived all right. There's loads of little ones going back to Iraq and stuff like that. Unfortunately, a few lads lost their life in the Shat. Got blown up in a boat going on a patrol. But the weird thing is these are lads and they're dying. And when you realise that, because personally know these people, and when you go to the Arboretum or whatever and see their names on the wall, you think, bloody hell, I used to play rugby with him, or we used to go and piss together or whatever.
It's definitely hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah, it hits home.
Yeah, it does, mate. I always remember a guy who I've got a lot of respect for, a guy called Foxy, and he was killed in Iraq, and it's that thing, like you say, it's not like two lines of people fighting, it's you're walking, you're patrolling, and that's how he was sort of it with an IED, where it's just command detonated IED, wait for you to get to a certain point, and you've just got, it's so difficult, isn't it? And that's why now I think it's a very different war now than what it probably used to be for like my uncle and stuff who went to Northern Ireland, where the amount of guys that I know that have lost limbs, lost their legs and stuff like that.
It's not uncommon, is it?
I reckon I know about 15 lads that have got injuries of that sort. Yeah, and it's obviously life changing. You see it quite a lot. So fast forwarding from that, you've come out of the military, and then what was the plans from that? Where did you?
Basically, I retrained as a telecoms engineer when I first left, and started to work for like a subcontractor to BT. Hated it.
Did you?
Yeah, hated it. Yeah. Just didn't like going into fields. I was thinking, I don't want to wreck their wall, drilling through it and stuff like that. And
was that because it was very different? So here's a question for you. When you came out of the military, when you adapted, and you're saying you didn't like that, was it because it's a very different world? Did you struggle to adjust back into?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was going through a lot of issues. Genuinely going through a lot of issues when I left. Didn't realise it at the time.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But I was really angry.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Still don't really know why. I thought deep into it, and I have no excuse to be angry. But when you're used to being in a routine, you know where you are. You know your life's planned out. You know what you're going to be doing. Obviously, you get sent away on tours and stuff, but generally, you know what you're doing. You know you're going to have a sports afternoon on a Wednesday, probably early finish on a Friday.
Yeah.
Normal routine. So having left that and been full time at home, which I hadn't been for a while, because Kate and the kids moved back from New Zealand, moved back, and I've been living singly and then just travelling on weekends. All of it, the pressure of providing for the family because
Yeah.
you've got a guaranteed wage in the army.
Yeah.
As long as you play by the rules and you do things you're supposed to do, then obviously you get paid. But coming out and having that fear of not earning any money I'd still got my pension, but there was nowhere near enough to pay the bills for the. When you want to, everyone wants to live in a nice house in a nice area and all that stuff. And I don't know. I think sometimes I used to think I'm better than this.
Yeah.
I'm worth more than this, because I honestly felt like I was like a piece of shit on someone's shoe at times.
Yeah.
I've been a freaking leader of men since I was 16 years old, and to sit there being the guy on the floor, the trainee, the apprentice, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It devastated me, genuinely devastated.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that I probably struggled with when you've been in a leadership role, and that it does wonders for your self-image when you've got a purpose, you've got a key role to play in the military, and you know that there's lads that you've built your way up to that level, and you've got lads that respect you, and then it's just kind of all taken away from you, isn't it? It's like literally, like for me, the PTI jacket, the maroon lid, the cross swords, and your medals. It's like it's just all kind of gone, isn't it?
You've come. It's not. You feel like you become insignificant. You don't. Obviously, I know that, but you feel like you do. You just like you've gone from, like you say, a man of pride to a man of just like wandering the streets. What do we do now? Where do all this extra time? You know?
No, I get it, mate. And there's so many lads, and we obviously good friends with Al Bunn. I remember him telling me that he struggled when he came out and that adapting. So I totally get that. So you've gone into this job, you didn't like that. What was the to taking you to sort of where you are now? What was the thing with the mindset, or what was the reason you sort of came into the academy? I'm guessing it was probably the normal thing is property.
Yeah, because I thought, do you know what? It's a good way. I've always had an interest in property. Even I've always like watched programs or doing houses. I like seeing that, taking the disabled building and making it somewhere livable and looks nice. And if you can earn money for doing that, I thought, well, why not? Let's have a go at that.
Yeah.
And
but you haven't done that. Why not?
No.
So tell us why you came in.
I haven't done
and you've done that training, and you took another route. And you're one of the key people, Gareth, that I love the example of, because as part of my training, the key thing is finding happiness and finding what it is for yourself. And you're one of those ones that haven't took action in property, but you've had a massive impact on other people, and your results have been very inspiring, but you've took it a different way off the back of the discipline model, of that desire, what is it you want. And
it is, and that, you see, that model kind of opened my eyes. When you actually think into it, on the course, don't get me wrong, you think into it, but when you come away from the course, that's when you start thinking into it properly, fully, deeply, and certainly when you go into elite. And I remember speaking to you at the end of elite and saying I kind of had my breakthrough moment on the 3-day.
Yeah.
And that just solidified it on elite, and it made me think even more.
Yeah.
Because the mindset, something the only time I'd ever done mindset before was like if we were going into a rugby game, or I was boxing. You know, getting ready for an event of some kind. It'd all be little short, sharp shots of mindset, and that's it. And but when I started looking into it, truly looking into it, and realising that you're in charge of your own life, and you decide what you do with your life, and you decide where you're going to go in your life. We came on to Strength to Succeed and after your course, and then I seen Dr. Cheryl Chapman on there, and she said something, and it was about finding your why. And I already kind of knew my why from doing your course. Yeah. So I went on her course, and it's kind of cemented it in. It just cemented what I already knew. Yeah. And so from that, I came back and I upped the men's mental health charity. And what I used to do when I was suffering with mental health, even though I didn't realise I was suffering with mental health at the time, don't know why, if lots of bodies don't think that they have mental health issues, but anyway. what I used to do is I used to come down the beach. I'd go for a walk. My favourite place to walk. Everyone knows it's my favourite place to be.
Yeah.
And so I used to come from that, and I'd spend a good hour, 2 hours out, just wandering all the way up to Saltburn or Mask or whatever, and coming back to Redcar. And that'd be it. It'd be released, good, clear mind.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if it works for me, it could work for others. And you know, the situation was like when the time I left the army around here, and everyone was, not everyone, but a lot of people, the people we knew or know, or should say knew, were committing suicide.
Yeah.
Male and female.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there must be something I can do to try and stop this.
Yeah.
And I felt really passionate about it. Genuinely felt passionate about it. I haven't felt passionate about a lot of things for a long time. And the idea of my walk and talk group was born. And I thought, well, why don't we get a bunch of lads together, go for a chat, and see where it goes. And that was on the 23rd of February this year. And
it's really took off as well, hasn't it? Because I've spoke to you because I've had people now saying, do you think Gareth will let me start a walk and talk in my area? And then I had a female asking me, is there going to be a sort of female side to it? Is it a joint? So I think it's starting to grow arms and legs, isn't it?
It is. It's I'll be honest. At first I was surprised by the amount of people we had come and join the group. Originally it was a veterans group. That's what I set up initially for. But then I've been talking to people, having a few beers, and I'm thinking, nah, these need it as well.
Yeah.
It's not just for veterans. There's plenty of people in this town, and I'm passionate about this town, same as you are.
Yeah.
And I'll do anything I can to help people in here. And that's what I said. I brought these lads together. It was like 20 on the first war. Then obviously COVID came and lockdown came in. I thought, it's only just started. I had a good start. I thought, I'm going to keep momentum. And basically, I weighed up the pros and cons, and I thought, took the risks into consideration for lockdown. And I thought, do you know what? There's a couple of lads on there. If I didn't go and walk with them during lockdown, then they probably wouldn't have been here anyway.
Yeah.
So that was the decision. That was the choice I had, and the choice I took was to go and take them for a walk. So I just reduced the group sizes.
Yeah.
For those that really needed it at the time.
So what is it you're doing? So for people who are watching in, and maybe especially people in the local area, or maybe other people are going to be inspired by this to create something themselves, or maybe this is where they connect with you, and walk and talk starts to happen in other areas. So what's the vision for it, and what's the benefits you've seen?
Right, so basically we just hit our 500 member yesterday. So that's how far it's taken off. My vision is to help as many people as I can. And originally it's a male group, because that's what I felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable with males. Being an army lad, I suppose, whatever. It's what I've been used to, even though I've had females in the army, but it's the ones I kind of got on with.
Yeah.
But my vision is for it to be open to males and females. Probably keep the groups separate.
Yeah.
Because for the particular reasons, because lads don't want to talk about things, whereas females are a lot more open, I feel. And sometimes lads will kind of not say what they really want to say to females in the group.
Yeah.
So the idea is to have two separate groups, and then maybe come together for maybe once a year for a charity event and do as a big group, whatever.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can take it as far and wide as possible. Just help as many people as possible. I know everyone has all these figures, I'm going to help 1 million people, I want to hurt, but I just want to help whoever I can. Yeah. Whoever wants to be helped, and we'll be able to facilitate anyone who wants to be part of that. And hopefully, like I say, we're at 500 now. With the 2 lockdowns that we've had in between, could have probably been more. But I see a vision, and certainly if we're not county-wide or regional-wide, then there's no reason why we can't go national. That's all.
I can see it happening, definitely. Hi guys, hope you're enjoying this video. Make sure that you like, share and subscribe to the channel. In the description below you can book a strategy call with one of my coaches. You can download the book. Enjoy the rest of the video. So what do people, what's your passion for that? Where does it come from and what do people take away from it?
My passion for it comes from me wanting to help people, genuinely. I've always had a passion to help others. It's like lads I joined, or have been under my command in the army, who've excelled through my guidance because I wanted not to make the mistakes I did, because I kind of took my foot off the pedal. That's why I finished at staff sergeant and then crack on, even though I was qualified. I qualified quite early on as a staff sergeant in the army, so, but I kind of just like took my foot off the pedal. If I'd had the mindset I have now, I'd flew through. What I didn't, I kind of give up on it a bit.
And did you recognise that you were a giving person in the army? Because people say to me they're not surprised that I'm doing what I am now, because when I was on camp I used to take the time on a night to write training programmes for people, take people out for runs, and I would do all of this stuff, but I didn't recognise that in myself. I just enjoyed doing that. It wasn't like I didn't feel I was doing a favour, it was just I enjoyed doing that. I found that rewarding to be able to help people in that way.
I've always been that way. Genuinely, I don't know where it comes from. It's just something that you brought up with, whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed helping people in the army, and like I say, I didn't recognise I was doing that. But like you say, other people say, "Well, you were."
Yeah.
And I said, "No, it's just what I was doing."
Yeah.
And it's just the way I am. That's why, if I can help somebody. Ultimately, for the men's group to stop them committing suicide, which is what it boils down to. But if I can help someone in another way, to realise that they have a better life if they choose to have that life, it all stems from that one up there. It genuinely does. It's from what I already knew everything that was on that model pretty much, but having it in some kind of sequence and order. And something I could understand. But that goes a lot deeper than I ever understood it. So, if I could pass that on to someone else in whatever way I can, which this is my way of doing it. There's lots of people in the community that pass it on to doing different things, but this is just my particular version of it. So, if I can do that and it helps somebody, helps themselves, and helps them, change their life for the better, then why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely agree, mate. I think it's personally amazing what you're doing. What does somebody get from it? What do they say to you? So they're coming out and they're going on the walks. What's the benefit? Because some people watching this, like I know my dad when he's had mental health challenges in the past, and his doctor would tell him to go for a walk, and he used to find that offensive, like, fuck off, I'm feeling like I want to take my own life, and going for a walk isn't going to sort it out. So why is it working? Why are you is it the walk, or is it something other than the walk?
It's definitely a mixture of both. It's not just the walking. Walking on my own worked for me. Walking as a group works even better. A lot of the lads in the group, not everyone in the group has mental health issues, or has had mental health issues. But it helps that some of them have, because I haven't had all the mental health issues going. So when people have had them, they're kind of pair them up on a little walk and just like discover each other, and that's what it's about. And the more we get to know the lads, the more they open up. And
is that what it is? It's just opening up and getting that rather than bottling everything. It's just talking.
It's a total release.
Genuine
total release. That's what it's about, and that's what the whole group's about. It's about getting out there, getting stuff off your chest in a non-judgmental environment. People aren't going to sit there and take the piss out of you, like some people think. If you started going into the frigging pub and started going on about some of the stuff like we talked about that group. Oh wait, it's Friday night. I don't really want to know. I want to enjoy myself. So it's amazing, and the lads. The way they open up to me, I still find it amazing. The stories and some of the things that lads have been going through in their lives is absolutely unreal. And how they're still here, I don't know. But all we can do is guide them and let them know that we're there for them if they need us.
And do you think that the reason why they take to it so well is because they kind of have in there what we had in the army, where you feel a part of something, you actually feel valued, that you're a part of a system or a group? Or
and I think that's why I got t-shirts made, because that's having that uniform. Again, maybe it's my own thing, but it's a sense of belonging. And the fact that I created it and we together are a community, and it's definitely it's an achievement. It is a community. It's not just a group, it's a community, you know. They all help each other out, doing stuff after our long gone. There are lads out there walking with each other now, who become friends and stuff like that, and that's what it's all about. I've just started the motion and the ball's still rolling.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, mate. Tell me about this bench as well, because you've got a bench on Redcar Seafront. What was the what was the thing behind that?
Well, having done your course, I had a vision, didn't I? I had a vision.
Was this written out on the course, was it?
It was a vision. I spoke to you about it on the 3-day. I said, I'm going to put a memorial bench on the seafront. I'm going to see what it looks like. I wanted it to be, so it's a veterans bench. But it's not just for old-style veterans. It's for what I call modern veterans, and that's why the bench is dedicated to both. So it's a scene on it, and it's got some lads on patrol in Afghanistan, all cut out of metal. It's got Tommy by the cross in the middle. So you've got a World War I soldier and then a modern soldier opposite each other on the cross, paying their respects on it. It's all for all three services. So it's got a ship on there. It's got a Chinook helicopter, which I've spent loads of time, and it's also got a Spitfire on there. So it's kind of trying to involve all three services, because I know when we all have banter with each other when, like, you're in the RAF or you're in the Navy, but when it boils down to it, I would rather have them on my side than
absolutely.
anyone else.
I get that, and it's something, again, what I like. There's that banter between cap badges and everything, but you know when the shit hits the fan, you want all of them people around you, because you know that they've got a very specific role to do, and you know that they've equally been trained as well as what you have. For me, the British Army, and I'm probably biased saying this, but for me, the British Army is the most trained and professional army in the world. If you look at how much money goes into us, there's no money saved in terms of training
and time.
The
amount of time you spend doing the same thing and the same thing and the same thing until you know it is a drill. Some people, that's the thing I found. I think when I left, I didn't have that time to get it right. I didn't like
No, I get that, mate. It's a very different world, isn't it? So what's your journey in life taught you? So coming from prior to the army, through the army, and where you are now, what has your journey taught you that you can share with people watching this?
If I was to sum it up, it would be, there's something that you say quite a lot, but don't have limiting beliefs, because that's the thing that's stopping you. The only thing that's stopping you is yourself. And if you have something and you're passionate about it, then go for it, because it will always win.
Good points, mate. Good points. So a couple of other questions. Where's the? You've told me the vision with the group. What's the whole vision? What's Gareth's vision? What are you? What's the big plan? What are you doing it all for? Where are we going?
Now that's a question. Because at the minute I'm just going with the motion. I'm just riding the wave, as I say. That's to see where it want to be. It all depends on how it will take off. Ideally, obviously, I'd like it to become a charity or be part of a charity and be able to do that as a job. If I could do that as a job, then it's a win-win situation for me. Don't get me wrong, I've still got properties, things going on, and I still keep up to date with all the property stuff, because one day I will have properties, I know I will. And my next one will be a property, it will be commercial property with you know, with a flat above it, which will subsidise the commercial property underneath, which I will buy for my wife's business to go in. So that's my next property vision. But as for me, if I can do this as a job, get paid for it, as much as I love doing it, and I do spend quite a lot of time doing it. However, it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
So if I can do that, for me it's a win-win situation, and then if we can concentrate on that, who knows where it's going to take us. And hopefully, with the way things are at the minute, I can only see it getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And if this COVID thing keeps cropping its head up, then we're going to have to find ways of supporting these guys, lads and lasses, whether it be local or whether it becomes national. I'm not sure, but I'm concentrating on the local area at the minute because that's where the passion is. But the passion will spread along with the people in the group.
Yeah. No, totally get that, and I don't think you can fake what you have. And I've said this to you on a few occasions. You see somebody when they're passionate, you know that you can't fake passion, and that shines through you in what you're doing. Absolute no question. And this journey that you've took with the training that we've done, and the working on your mindset, this has had an impact on Kay as well, I'm guessing, and the family. I'm guessing that ripple effect is.
Yeah, I can never thank you enough for making me think the way I think now. Because if I was still the same man I was before, prior to your course, I probably wouldn't be married. That's the truth of it.
Is that because she's gonna?
Because I was just angry,
Yeah.
and I hated that environment. I grew up in that kind of environment. Like broken home environment.
Yeah.
And like creeping around, you know, in your own house.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like that.
No.
It's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
I would not give that up to my worst enemy.
Yeah.
So for me to become that man, who everyone's scared of in their own house.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I was never violent. I was just Mr. Frustrated. I was always shouting and everything annoyed me.
Yeah.
That typical grumpy old man.
Yeah, but it's funny you say that, because I don't know, is there a pattern here? Because that's how I felt when I came out of the military. It was just, I just had loads of anger, exactly the same. And it's, is that because you train to kill? Is it because you train, you're going into war and you've got to be focused? And I mean, there's a lot more focus now for lads going on tours of like defragging and stuff like that, rather than just going straight over.
Well, you know, I said I was going to tell you something that happened to me. But I was coming home, it was an hour and a half from Afghanistan, and I landed in Brize Norton, drove home. Okay, so I was going to do some shopping, all them list of foods like you've been missing.
Yeah. After being on rations for 3-4 months.
Yeah. Got out of the car, drove down, a car backfired. Absolutely shit myself. Looking belly to the floor. Looking, there I was, lying sights up. Off I went, waiting. That was that. So if you'd seen me there, you'd be laughing freaking tits off, wouldn't you? But it was just one of them things. It was just because I was my awareness.
And was that pure fear, or was that just?
It was just drill, I think. As
just
well.
Automatic.
Yeah, just obviously 24 hours before I was sat there doing it.
Yeah.
And then I sat there shopping around Tesco's and what's going on? Yeah, it was a mad, funny story to think back on. But yeah, just goes to show, and it's a scary thought that you don't think there's anything wrong with being in that environment, and it's not until you leave that you realise that it can be pretty dodgy. It can be pretty dodgy, yeah.
No, it's good, mate. So to wrap up, share with us a few nuggets. Share with some nuggets, something that we can take away, that the listeners right now, what do they, I know you talked about believing yourself, share a nugget that the listeners are going to take something away from. Not that we haven't took any away, because you've shared loads of great things with us there, and I've enjoyed doing the whole interview, but give us some nuggets, hit us up.
Some nuggets, okay. Some things I would suggest that you do if you're if you have a mental illness, or you are not truly into your mindset for whatever reason, is get into your mindset. Seriously, start looking deeper into it. You will find who you are, who you're meant to be, and the purpose you're here. So, and that is a vehicle of how to learn how to do it. So please get into your mindset. It might seem a bit woo-woo, wah-wah to some people, which it was to me. I thought, what is this all about? It's all a bit pink and fluffy. Can't wait for you. But yeah, the more I did it, the more I understood it. And when you start to understand it, that's when your results come. So there you go.
Great, thanks mate. Absolutely love doing that with Gareth, and I'd definitely second that. Anyone who's listening to this and they have got any challenges, take it from two people who've been there, who've had their own challenges, and it's certainly mindset that's sorted it for me, and you've heard Gareth say the same as well. Just start to look at educating yourself in terms of books, podcasts, putting yourself around the right people, because no matter how low you are, there's always a way out of that, and you've heard that firsthand from both of us today. So I hope you've enjoyed that, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back soon with another interview.